All right, y'all. Look, the Baltimore Ravens, they got the Pittsburgh Steelers today. How we feeling? How we feeling? Because we know for a fact, if there's any team, besides, of course, the Browns once a year, besides, of course, the Bengals once a year, besides, of course, the Steelers probably twice a year, that the Ravens are going to struggle against is going to be, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers. But the Ravens are in a must-win situation. The Ravens are in, we got to be honest, a win-out situation. But it starts today with this Week 14 matchup against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Can the Ravens overcome their frustrations of last week on a Thursday Night Football game where Joe Burrow came back, Joe Burrow did his thing, and this Ravens team just didn't look ready? But look, the Ravens, they have to right the ship in this game, in one of their most important games. It's got to happen. Look, we got a little pre-game show for y'all. We're going to preview this game, talk a little bit about the rest of the schedule. Let's get into it. It's a Sunday. It's a lot of fun. It's Ravens Steelers week. We got to do it. Let's go. Get your popcorn, get your drink. Let's do that thing. Let's go. All right, y'all, look. Welcome in to the Be More Show. We're back again. Little game day pregame show today because of a crazy week. But it don't matter. It don't matter. However we got to do it, we gonna pull it off, okay? But look, the Ravens got the Steelers this week. It's week 14. It's week 14. The Ravens got the Steelers. And I got to be honest with y'all, okay? The Ravens got the Steelers, and I don't like it. I don't like it, okay? I'm just gonna be real with y'all. I'm gonna be upfront with y'all. I don't like it. Okay? I don't like it. Because you got last week, you lose to the Bengals in a game where, I'm gonna be honest, I thought if I would have got the chance to break down the rest of the games throughout the season, I would have said that the Ravens probably would have swept the Bengals. The reason I said it is, yes, the Ravens always have a bad game against the Bengals. But earlier in the season, which technically none of these games are early in the season this year in terms of the Bengals games, but no Joe Burrow was my thought, right? So no Joe Burrow probably for both of those games, because at that point in time, we're looking at Thanksgiving, of course, and then we're looking at 12-14. Maybe Burrow's back by 12-14, because that was the initial thought. But, sneaks up on us, finds his way back to the lineup, and, he showed us why he is their MVP. But anyway, and I mean, for the game, the turnovers that we decided to give them over and over and over and over and over, is that 5 and over again, also didn't help. But speaking of turnovers, the Ravens got the ball. The Ravens got the Steelers, and in my ironic outfit today, as you can see, the irony of this. But anyway, I'm not trolling, I promise. But anyway, look, the Ravens have the Pittsburgh Steelers, and this is, I mean, honestly, the two games against the Pittsburgh Steelers every year seem to be the sloppiest games the Ravens play. So that's why I'm a little bit frustrated by the performance last week, because if that spills into this week in normal Ravens-Steelers fashion, then we're going to get more of the same. Now, do I expect the Ravens to turn the football over five times? No. It's probably 1% of the league who wins games turn the football over 3, 4, 5 times or more, right? Like it's probably, that's probably just what it is, right? But look, the Ravens got the Steelers today in a game that is really going to determine the division, because the Ravens are still in first place. So pretty much if the Ravens went out, regardless of what the Steelers do, the Ravens will be fine in terms of winning the division. So they're in control of their own destiny. Now, the Bengals have played spoiler multiple times. They've already started their little spoiler campaign last week. And when you think about the rest of the schedule, of course, you got the Steelers this week, the Bengals next week, so you got to come back and deal with that. And then you got the Patriots, which I think is the hardest matchup of this whole thing, considering how they're playing, considering they're top of the AFC right now. I would say everybody's surprised, but at least I'm not surprised. And then you got Green Bay, and then you got Pittsburgh. Because honestly, this schedule in the back half is a gauntlet. So you losing to the Bengals last week hurts that much more, because you are a better team than the Bengals. You are a better offense than the Bengals defense. Just what it is. But anywho, the Ravens have been tested by more than that before. So we'll see. But let's talk about the Ravens Steelers game, and then I'll jump into the rest of the schedule for a little bit of time. So this Ravens Steelers game, must win. Absolutely, right? Must win for the Ravens. You control your own destiny. If you win out, you win, right? If you win out, you win the division, you're in the playoffs. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I think whoever gets hot this year, that's who's winning the Super Bowl, right? I'm just going to be honest. Like, and maybe it's just, maybe it's recency bias for me. But I just don't see the teams right now that's in the top of the conferences. I just don't see them being the teams that win the Super Bowl. I think this is going to be one of those years that when you get hot, the team that gets the hottest and the team that goes on a run, it could be a wild card team winning the Super Bowl this year. I really do. I mean, do I really trust that the Patriots or the Bears, who both feel like they're a year ahead of schedule in terms of how they're performing, but at the same time, they also feel like they might not be quite there yet, even though they look good right now. I'm going to be honest, they look good right now. But I just don't trust them. I just don't trust them. I don't trust the AFC playoff picture. I don't trust the NFC playoff picture with the guys at the top. I just don't. And I mean, look, given the last 5 weeks of the season, you never know what you're going to get. I mean, we can be honest about that. We can be honest. You never know. You never know. How you doing, Jennifer? Look, I agree. It's, this is the thing. This is the thing. Appreciate you coming by as always. But look, this game is going to be good because it's always good. This game is always good. Like, there's not a lot of blowouts in this history for the Ravens and the Steelers. It's going to be good. It's going to go down to the wire. I'm going to be biting my nails off, right? Like, I'm going to be happy and frustrated at the same time. But honestly, and I know this is probably a cliche for me at this point, but I know I say this a lot, but I think honestly, I think the Ravens have to make a statement with this game. The Ravens need to destroy the Steelers. They need to win big for their confidence sake. Because if you can beat your biggest rival, who you always struggle with, no matter how good or how bad they are, then that gives you plenty of momentum going into the Bengals and some of these other games going in. But how did they win? Let's talk about that first, and then we'll get into the rest of the schedule, and then I'm getting up out of here because I know y'all got to get ready. Y'all got to cook like y'all's lunch and stuff. I get it. Look, let's talk. How did the Ravens beat the Steelers? One word. I got one word for you. Turnovers. You have to play a clean game. I feel like I've been saying this all year long, but you have to play a clean game. Of course, based on what we saw last week, and you still had opportunities to win that football game, and you just didn't. Turnovers will be what wins or loses this game, because I feel like the Steelers aren't necessarily prone to turnovers, but when it comes to that defense is going to make a play. You just got to make sure that you don't give them the football back in easy territory. Because let's be honest, the Steelers' offense isn't good. The Steelers' offense is not good at all. They're not good at all, in the least. So slowing down this offense, I don't think is the problem, right? Slowing down this offense is not the problem. Not allowing this defense to make plays, that's the problem. That's the problem. Raven C, what's up? Look, check out my guy Raven C. Look. Mitchell going off. Look, can we be honest? If Keaton Mitchell gets the football, and I feel like this is coaching malpractice, right? To have, and I found it, I was talking about it earlier this week. I found that snap count. Rasheen Ali, 29 snaps. Derrick Henry, 24 snaps. Keaton Mitchell, 8 snaps. If Keaton Mitchell gets the football, it's almost a guaranteed big play. It just is. It just is. Like, I don't understand why Keaton Mitchell doesn't get played. I think it's coaching malpractice for Keaton Mitchell to not be in the game more. If Rasheen Ali, let me be nice. If Rasheen Ali can learn how to block quicker than Keaton Mitchell can, that is coaching malpractice. Because Rasheen Ali, it's not like Rasheen Ali won't necessarily make plays, but we know for a fact, you get the ball in Keaton Mitchell's hand, Keaton Mitchell on one SEO, it don't matter. One torn up knee, it don't matter. He's still fast. Keaton Mitchell neutralizes how bad this offensive line is. We all know this. We've seen the tape. We know that you get Keaton Mitchell the football, this offensive line looks like they actually can block. part of the reason why Derrick Henry hasn't been as successful this year is this offensive line has been bad, right? He don't trust himself because he don't trust what's in front of him. And it's not that he don't trust his skills. He don't trust the guys in front of him. He won't say that, but I would, because I can. Look, you get a football to Keaton Mitchell, plays being made. That, like, for Keaton Mitchell to not be in the game, for Derrick Henry to not have 29 snaps, Keaton Mitchell have 24 snaps, and Rasheen Ali to not have 8 snaps, flip those numbers around, that's coaching malpractice. That's coaching malpractice. It shouldn't happen. So, look, I agree. I think Keaton Mitchell's going to have a game because I think Keaton Mitchell, once again, I think Keaton Mitchell neutralizes the defense. I think Keaton Mitchell neutralizes a bad offensive line. You get the football to Keaton Mitchell, he's going to make a play. We know he's going to make a play. So I think, and we've seen in the past, especially in the wild card game last year, the wild card game last year, we've seen that if you give Derrick Henry the football against this team, I mean, he gonna wear them down. And that's the type of game that the Ravens Steelers just is. Right? That's the type of game that Ravens Steelers just is. It just is. It's just that type of game. It's just that type of game where, look, man, listen, it's that type of game where it's like, hey, sometimes it's going to be 10-3. It just is. Right? Now, I hope it's about 30 to, never mind, let me stop. I hope it's about 31-14 in the Ravens' favor. That's just me. That's just me. I'm tired. I still don't like the Steelers to this day. But anyway, listen. Turnovers, that's going to be the biggest issue. Because I think, realistically, shutting down his offense, easy money. I wish I had my easy button. I ain't got it on me. But look, that's easy money. Shutting down his offense, easy, right? Now, a lot of us could probably say shutting down the Ravens offense this year has been kind of easy. So what the Ravens offense has to do is, like I said, lean into this defense. And I mean, lean into Derrick Henry is what I'm saying. But also, on the contrary, this defense is going to have to turn this team over, right? We're not worried about them offensively, but you've got to turn this team over. Turn them over, make it hard for them, make them earn every single yard. Make them earn everything, right? Get physical with them. We talk about laying some hands on them. Lay some hands on them. Do what you got to do, okay? But look, let's look into the rest of the schedule. I think the Ravens win this game. Look, I'm going to go bold prediction. I think the Ravens win this game by 2 scores or more. I think that's how bad the Steelers are. I know it's the Ravens, and I know it's the Steelers, and I know the Ravens will never play well against the Steelers. I get it. I understand. I'm right here with y'all. We together here, okay? But I'm going bold prediction. The Ravens win this game by more than by 2 scores or more. That's just me. That's just me. I think it's going to happen. And this ain't going to be a good Ravens Steelers game. The Ravens should come out completely, truly inspired today. After what they put on tape last week and what the Bengals probably exposed about the Ravens last week, considering how bad the Bengals defense is, and we know how talented this defense is. Okay. But anyway, let's look at the rest of the schedule. Let's look at the rest of the schedule. Let's see what the Ravens got going on. Okay, I'm going to share this with y'all so y'all can hang out with us. Pull this up for us real quick, okay? But look, I think that the Ravens, I think they got a good chance of going on a run, but I think the problem that the Ravens are going to have is that momentum shift of what last week did to the Ravens. I'm going to be honest with y'all, man. Like, that's awful. Like, what the Ravens did last week was terrible. I just truly think that way. I truly think that what the Ravens did last week was terrible. Like I said, I'm very frustrated by it. And I think like it literally ruined their momentum. It literally ruined their momentum. And I hate that. I hate that for them. Because that's awful. But look, let's look into this. All right. So the Ravens got left. Of course, you got the Pittsburgh Steelers. We know that one. We've talked about that one. Let me know down below what you guys think about the Ravens Pittsburgh Steelers matchup. How do we win this one? How do we bounce back? Because we gotta bounce back. There's no way that we can't bounce back here. All right, let's pull this up. Let's see what we got. All right, listen. Let's see what we got. All right. Why is it all the way over there? Anywho, let's scroll down. All right, of course you got the Steelers. You got the Steelers. Let's see if I can move this up for us just a little bit. There we go. That looks good. Yes, one more time. Oh yeah, okay, we cooking with grease here. All right, listen. So, all right, the Ravens have the Steelers. So, like I said, win this one, 2 possessions or more. Let's do it, right? Because I think you got to win all of these games. I don't know who the Steelers have left, and I'm probably not going to necessarily look. I'm probably going to hold off on that. But, I mean, look. Okay, so you got the Steelers. You got to win this one. Got to win this one. You can't put back-to-back division losses on yourself like that. Maybe we look in the Steelers schedule real quick. But look, you got the Steelers. You got to win that. Bengals on December 14th. Got to win that. You have to. You have to win that, right? Because you have to, at worst, you got to take care of the division. If you don't do nothing else, you got to take care of the division. And you got to let the other 2 out-of-division games, let them talk later. But take care of the division first. So I think realistically, if we looking way, way, way too far ahead, you got to beat the Steelers. You got to sweep the Steelers, right? Beat the Steelers here, beat the Steelers at the end of the year, beat the Bengals. You got to. Then you got the Patriots and the Packers. Realistically, I think you got to win both of them. I do. I think you can win both of them, right? I think you can win both of them. Realistically, though, you got to split them. And preferably, this is just me, preferably, I would love to see you beat the Patriots because that's the top of the AFC right now. I would love to see you play well against the Packers. And if you lose, it sucks. I hate it. But I think the Patriots is more important, right? Because you know that more than likely, even though I don't trust them, but right now the numbers say different than what my feelings do. So you have to. I think the Patriots is the game of those 2 that you need to win. Now, look, I'm gonna be optimistic as usual. I think the Ravens win all of these games. I do. I think the Ravens going on another run. I said this before. When the Ravens started out how they did, I said they were going to lose 2 more games. They lost to the Bengals. That's 1, right? So like I said, if they lose any of these other games, honestly, if we could be realistic, they'll probably lose one of the Steelers games. If we know the Ravens like we think we do, they'll probably lose one of the Steelers games. But I think me being a little bit of a fan here and me also being a little bit realistic, I can see the Ravens losing to the Patriots or the Packers. But when you look at it, the Packers lost to the Panthers earlier this year, and the Panthers have been up and down too. So I think you could, I honestly think the Ravens really could win that game. But I think realistically, I think, one of those 2 games would be the ones if they're going to lose the 2 more than I think they do. Last week was one of them, and I think that would be the rest. What y'all think? What y'all think? Looking forward into the rest of the season, what do y'all think about this team right now? What do y'all think? Can the Ravens win out? I think they have to. I honestly do. I think they have to. I think at worst they lose 1 more game in terms of wanting to make the playoffs. I think they lose 1 more game. I think it will probably be Patriots or Packers if they're going to lose another one of these games. I think they're going to run the rest of the division. And I think honestly, today will be a good indicator on what they do. But look, y'all, let me know what y'all think down below. Look, I appreciate y'all for coming by. Let me shout out to the live chat as usual. Jennifer, appreciate you for coming by and hanging out. Hope you subscribe. If you didn't, hope you found your way back, my friend. Look, but I appreciate you as usual. And my good friend Raven C. Look, Mitchell going off. I'm telling you, Mitchell is going off. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen too. I think Mitchell's going to go off. I think Derrick Henry's going to go off. I think honestly, and I'm going to wrap up, but I think honestly, I really think that the Ravens leaning into Derrick Henry and leaning to keep Mitchell and leaning into his run game, honestly, is going to make this offense that much better. I think that's why this offense looked so good and so easy last year, right? This offense looks so good and so easy because of the fact that it's run game. It just did, right? I think the run game being pretty historically good, right, and Derrick Henry being pretty historically good, I think made this offense that much easier because you got to respect Derrick Henry until Derrick Henry proves otherwise, right? You got to respect the run game until proven otherwise, and then Lamar's going to beat you with his arm. It's just how it's going to be, right? I think that's the biggest part. He said, I'm thinking 5 hearts and let's get a head start. Look, man, look. I wouldn't be mad about Brian Flores. Like, look, in an ideal world, look, this is just me. This is wishful thinking, and I shouldn't be this optimistic. But in an ideal world, the Ravens win the Super Bowl, right? Harb says, you know what, man, I've done all I can do. I've done all I can do. Okay, I've done all I can do. I'm gonna ride off into the sunsets. I'm going. I've won the Super Bowl with 2 quarterbacks. I'm a Hall of Famer. I'm a great coach. This is me being John Harbaugh now, me being me. I'm a great coach. Okay, it's over. I'm done. Okay, I'm done. And then in comes Brian Flores. Easy money. Easy money. In comes Brian Flores. Right? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking. Okay. Okay. Maybe even give Eric Bieniemy a shot here. Maybe. I mean, I haven't seen him be a head coach yet. Let's try some different things. Look, okay, I'm just saying. I'm just being optimistic. All right. Look, I appreciate y'all as always for coming by. If you haven't already, hit the subscribe button. If you haven't, and make sure to check out my guy Raven C. As always, I don't know if Jennifer got a channel, but if Jennifer does, look. Check Jennifer out too. Let's do this. Look, y'all. I'm gonna get up out of here. I definitely appreciate you guys for coming by. Let me know. Give me some score. Give me some score predictions because I'm terrible at that. So I'm not even gonna give one. But I think I did anyway. But look, give me some score predictions down below because I'm terrible at it. So look, let me know what y'all think about the Ravens and the Steelers today. Look, I'm getting up out of here. Appreciate y'all coming by. Till next time, my friends.